Hey guys, it's Rachel Castile. Welcome to Typology Corner. Today I'm going to talk about being a self-preservation instinct first kind of person. And I personally am an Enneagram type 2. So I'm going to talk about it through the lens of being a type 2. So this is something that took some time for me to see. I honestly thought that self-preservation was repressed in me as in like the last instinct. And I thought I was sexual first for a while. And turns out I was seeing myself completely upside down, because I think the instincts are so automatic that I just disassociated, like, oh, that's not me, when I would hear like the description read, but like, yeah, I've come to the point that I can see myself and I'm like, no, this is definitely what I'm doing. So how this manifests in a two, there's a blending of the two and not just the instinct in of itself. And whenever I began like reading how it shows up for a two, um, I got to see that my picture of self preservation um, is different when it comes to a two. That it winds up being like taking care of other people and not paying attention to my own bodily needs and stuff like that. Um, so I was like, okay, I'm doing that. And I thought self preservation was always, hey, I'm watching out for the self first. And that's still very much there, but yeah, and mixing it with a two, um, I can see my subtype. So I'm going to read a little bit um, from a website on how this manifests. So the self preservation type is called privilege or me first. It's also the counter type of the two. So childlike seduction in order to get themselves what they need. Um, Exaggerated sense of entitlement or privilege, wants to be taken care of but doesn't want to be dependent. Yeah. And so there's not going to be enough left over for me once the others get what they want, and you get so angry at the indignity of being left out that you maneuver yourself to the head of the line. Let's see. So this is how privilege kind of shows up, or the seduction of type 2 in the self-preservation type. They seduces like a child in the presence of grown-ups as a way to as a way of unconsciously inducing others to take care of them. The title privilege reflects that this too desires to be loved and prioritized just for being who they are, not for what they give to others. So it's kind of said that the self-preservation too is just, they're just cute. They're just going to be cute, and um, people are supposed to just love them for being who they are. So this is the type that is less likely to be like overly giving a lot, but just like stays in this childlike persona so that people will love them. And it sounds kind of pathetic. But like I realize like this is something I've had to like move past, to not just be like, hey, like it's there. But anyways, so in the average range for self-preservation twos, they repress their own self-preservation instincts while focusing on taking care of the needs of others. When I read that, I was like, okay, that's definitely how that was showing up for me, because I kind of took it like, oh, I'm not in tune with all that for me. Like, I can even talk about like cooking. Like, I felt more motivated to cook for somebody else when I saw that they needed it or wanted it. And then it's like, okay, yeah, if it's not in that context, I'll just go eat cereal. Like, that's how I was for like years. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I would just eat like cereal, smoothies, avocados, bananas, like salads. Like, that stuff isn't bad. It's just like I didn't care about my body all that much. Um, or it was just, yeah, I literally, I would give someone else something better than what I was giving myself. So that's something I had to notice, that I would avoid the things that I really like. I think that has to do with being sexual or um, repressed type, as in that being the last instinct. And yeah, my husband actually helped me to see that in myself, like, hey, you're avoiding all the things you actually want. I even was that way with people. If I feel like a connection with somebody, I will like not talk to them for a while, because I would avoid the, I guess you call it attraction. So, yeah, I would like be repelled by somebody showing like a sign of being drawn to me in some way. So that's something I've had to like work through to not avoid that, or like, yeah, kind of repressing, pushing that instinct down of bonding, um, sort of thing. Yeah, for sure. That's been there. I think that coming up in my life more recently, that I felt like in me, like kind of like yielding to building bonds and getting married. That was a big thing that um, when we first met, it took me like 6 months to really like let him in. Um, just all around this sort of thing, looking back on it. But yeah, with me starting to notice connections that really mattered to me, for me to go towards them instead of like dart around them. I then started to think I was the sexual instinct bonding, one on one bonding, sort of um, like having that first, I thought. But when I look at the whole picture of my life, it's like more so I'm starting to not repress that now. And, but yeah, like something on self preservation first. I am like very conscious of like the needs of other people, like the physical needs that they have, or like if they're in my car, I'm an Uber driver. I'll like make sure that the temperature is right for them, the music is right. It's like um, everything, like setting an atmosphere that they will enjoy is something I find myself doing. Or if somebody's at my house, it's like, are they comfortable? Like, what would they need at any given point? And like, to make sure that their essentials are there. Like, that's something you can even come, down to being married and taking care of the groceries, making sure that we have all the things that we need, that I wash the laundry, that I kind of make those things systematic, that all those things are handled. So that's something I'm always focusing on. Or like bills are very much like I'm on top of all of that. So it's like the welfare of whoever I care about. And yeah, so an aspect of that, I guess, moving into health within this self preservation instinct is to start doing that for myself too, and not just for other people. So, yeah, I do believe that I'm getting much healthier in this area. Like, I started going to the gym a lot, and doing something like that, being physical, just really helped me to like take care of my body. Starting to like cook more, do that more regularly, and yeah, like just getting, it could be like just having my clothes laid out for the next day, like thinking ahead of what things am I gonna need, and um, just it's kind of like managing all those resources and making sure that things are always stocked up, that things are covered and done. Something that's said about self preservation dominance is that whenever all those things are actually like good, then they're fine. Like if they're fine to move on to the other instincts, like to be social, to bond with others. But I can find myself, if I haven't like um, tended to these things, like I'm distracted by like how um, I haven't like taken care of these like essential preservation. Like, am I okay? Am my people okay in these types of ways? So yeah, um, it's just I find myself like handling those things, making sure there's enough bottled water that I'm taking on the road with me, like getting all those things very habitual. It helps me to be present with people when all those things are right. Like if something about that is off, like my social instinct isn't really okay. Like I want to be there for them, but something's off on one of these other areas. Like the temperature's really bad. I'm cold. Now that's a problem for me. I don't want to be cold, or I don't want them to be cold. Just an example. Um, yeah. So like thinking about like getting enough sleep, stuff like that. Like, um, yeah, like, or just um, having balance throughout my day is something that I've cared about. It could just be like, I slept enough, I worked enough, I made enough money today. Um, I stuck to my commitment to wake up, you know, I get up at 4 most mornings, but like to be driving by 6 or by 6:30 or something in the morning. Um, and like that I was true to that responsibility, I guess. So I don't have to be concerned with I'm not making the money I want to make for the budget I want to have or whatever. It's like keeping that stuff consistent, habitual, being good at that makes me be in a happy place that then I can move on to the other instincts. And so my stack is self-preservation, social, and then sexual repressed. So yeah, the idea is to not be imbalanced in all of them, or in any of them rather. So another point to add: just because something is your first instinct doesn't mean you're good at it. Um, so I could have a healthy self-preservation instinct and it doesn't mean because it's unhealthy that it's now my repressed thing. It's just there's actually a really good analogy that Olympia from Type Evolution used, and I love the video. She talked about a bucket analogy, that your first one is like the one that you really need. It's your juice. Like you need it. You can't get enough of it. And that your last one is kind of like a bucket that has a hole in it. So you spending time over there, it just leaks through. Like it's not really like, it's not gonna fill you up to spend your time on your least prioritized instinct. So that being said, that the middle one is like where you really have like the biggest like breakthrough in your life, is to actually focus on the middle instinct. That yes, you've got to have your first instinct, you've got to have that healthy for you to be happy, to be fulfilled in your life, because that's like the thing that just unconsciously you're driven towards that. So you're wired for that for sure. But yeah, whenever you've got that in a healthy place and you put more time into your middle one, and for me that's social. So to actually be connecting, having relationships and community, it's not just the sexual one-to-one bond, but for social, it's me focusing more on like showing up for other people, being around, being involved in community, socializing, connecting with lots of people, yeah, just in life. So being social is actually a very positive thing for somebody who is, it's not their dominant and it's not their repressed. It's in the middle. So yeah, so I really have seen that. Like I've gotten a lot happier and healthier, but also as I've gotten like balance and in my self-preservation instinct to actually begin to take care of myself, and also take care of the people in my life too, just like being a wife. As I am able to show up and meet those needs that I have, that other people have in my life, the happier I've been to like, you know, it's kind of like managing all the resources of my life, um, things being in balance. I'm trying to think of something else that's related to it, but it's just like managing your time, your money, your space, um, your body, your health, all of that. Um, just making sure that the self is okay and the selves around me are okay, type of thing. Um, that really is like first. So yeah, but the more I've done that, um, the more I've also began to socialize, began to um, be involved in community, to create community, to show up in community, to be a part of community, right? Just to like offer myself to be present with people. Yeah, so like this YouTube channel is definitely community for sure. So, um, yeah, it's been really good. And then back to my repressed side, like beginning to not run from the things that I'm drawn to has been really helpful. Yeah, it helps to have like real good, um, connected relationships with people and being married for sure, but just also it doesn't have to be like that partnership relationship. But the sexual instinct has a lot to do with being creative, leaning into what you're passionate about. Um, yeah, just having that like zest for life, expressing, like creating something, and that can be in a relationship, like having children, right? So, but it's like creating something with people in a like a intimate. It's that bonding, like one to one soul bonding with with somebody else. But yeah, it's definitely helped for me to get in touch with that more and find balance and health in all of it. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to share with you what this looks like for me as an Enneagram Type 2, and how that I've had to learn to take care of myself. And in doing so, I'm a lot healthier, and I'm still working on that just to stay like committed to my own being, my own value, my own needs, and to expand and to socialize and live fully as I am. So, yeah, guys, I hope you got value out of this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And I'll be making more videos like this, just coming to you guys on various different topics within personality, type, and living life. So, all right, guys, I'll see y'all on the next one. Take care.